Gen Z taking it to the streets, we cannot deny that overtaxation is a conversation that needs to be had constantly. And that brings us to the motion of today here at the debate circle, which says, overtaxation is the main reason for financial distress amongst Kenyans. Proposing and opposing this motion is Nyeri High School versus Leshau Boys High School. Speaker one, or proposition, you have 3 minutes. Good luck to both teams.
I have been beaten, battered, and bruised, robbed in broad daylight. Robbed in broad daylight. I have no justice since the one who robbed me are the ones who make the law. So, if you don't want this to happen to you, join me, Khalid Omar Juma from the Nyeri High School, here to firmly propose the motion that says that overtaxation is the main cause for financial distress among Kenyans. So, let's dive deep into definitions and define what is taxation. Overtaxation. Overtaxation refers to the levying of compulsory burdensome charges by the government on individuals, businesses, or other entities. What is financial distress? Financial distress is when individuals or entities face difficulties meeting financial obligations due to factors such as insufficient income, excessive debt, economic downturns, or unforeseen expenses. Who is a Kenyan? A Kenyan refers to a citizen of the Republic of Kenya, a country situated in east of Africa. So, why is this that I propose the motion that overtaxation is the main cause of financial distress among Kenyans? Is that, for one, it causes stifled economic growth. So, how does it cause stifled economic growth? By reducing consumer spending, discouraging investments, and impeding entrepreneurship. By reducing consumer spending, it means that the government will tax you to an extent where you won't even have the luxury of buying the items that you require, but only the basic needs. So you have to budget the little money that you have to meet or make both ends meet, and also hindering progress towards achieving decent work and economic growth according to SDG number 8. And these are not just rumors. This is from the International Monetary Fund on the 2016 1st of April. Increased cost of living. According to the Central Bank of Kenya, overtaxation contributes to the rising cost of living in Kenya, making essential goods and services less affordable for ordinary citizens, undermining efforts to reduce inequalities, SDG number 10. So, how is it that it reduces inequalities? Imagine you as an ordinary citizen have nothing to eat, but there's someone somewhere throwing out chicken when you have nothing to eat, or either you're eating ugali with salt. So this reduces inequalities. So what are we saying as a proposing team is that overtaxation brings about all the other factors that they will lie to you that brings about distress among Kenyans. So please join me. If you don't want to be beaten, battled, and bruised, please join the opposition. And with this, I bid you adieu. Thank you.
Well. Overtaxation. My name is Daniel Kibe, representing a school between the beautiful valleys of the Aberdare, Sharksville, in name Leshau Boys. And I do stand here firmly opposing the motion that states overtaxation is the main cause of financial distress among Kenyans. Before we begin debating on who's right and who's wrong, I'd like to define the key terms in our motion today. Overtaxation. Overtaxation is to tax someone or something beyond what is due. Financial distress, on the other hand, is a situation in which an individual or organization is unable to create income. That is a research done by Investipedia. Our motion today is telling us that overtaxation or increasing of the items that we used to buy has brought to stressing the Kenyans today. Without much ado, I'll go direct to my first point. Financial debt crisis. I do stand here supporting that financial debt crisis is the main cause of financial distress among Kenyans, but not overtaxation. Why is it so? Because this is a research done by Okoa Uchumi Campaign 2021. On to my first point, financial debt has brought to economic instability. According to the Okoa Uchumi Campaign 2021, Kenya is increasingly getting into a debt due to persistent fiscal deficits driven by growth of foreign borrowing. This has increased the debt of our country. which has forced the government to bring overtaxation and do everything in its power so that it can be able to plan on how to cope up with the debt, making the Kenyans financially stressed because their salary is reduced, the cost of items is increased, hence more of their earnings is taken by the government to pay the debts. My second point is that due to increasing foreign debts, the government has been enforced to pressure on the exchange rate, making imported goods out of reach of most Kenyans. Due to the high import taxes that we have right now, by the courtesy of our Honorable President William Samoei Ruto, people in Kenya are now forced to avoid importing more goods from the outside countries because of the high taxation that has been enforced, leading to scramble for the few resources and the few items that we have in Kenya. According to CEIC Article C, in 1999 September, Kenya had a financial debt of 4.2 billion, compared to March 2024, where Kenya had a foreign debt of 39.2 billion. That is an increment of $35 billion, ladies and gentlemen. This has made the government to stress the citizen by overtaxing. So my worthy proposers, stop saying that overtaxation is the main cause of financial distress, but financial debt is the main cause of financial distress. Thank you.
Now, when I was a child, I used to fear the darkness. I could never sleep without the lights on. But now, as I'm aging towards 18, my greatest fear is getting an ID. Why? Because I fear to be battered, beaten, and bruised by the same people who make the law. I fear to be robbed in broad daylight. Victor Wachira here to firmly propose that overtaxation is the main reason for financial distress among Kenyans. Now, if foreign debts was the reason why we have financial distress, that means that we could have been picketing at that time. Why is it that the Gen Zs are picketing right now? It is because of the overtaxation. We know our rights, and we know we must protest our rights. Now, just like the Boston Tea Party in 1773 that made a declaration that there is no taxation without representation against the colonial government, we Kenyans are going out in order to express our distress. Now, what is the problem with this overtaxation? It creates a financial, and it undermines financial inclusion, where majority of the people are in poverty. The poverty report says that 36.7% of Kenyans are under a dollar wage. That closes to 19.12 million Kenyans. Speaking in terms, that means 5 out of 10 individuals in the country are under $1 wage. Now, while I am struggling with poverty, why should I worry about the foreign debts? I am being overtaxed. Why should I be worried about that? Now, economic holds are going out everywhere. This was not the case when we had debts. It came out while we have overtaxation. 40% of the small medium enterprises complain that overtaxation is the main reason for their holds in businesses. That is a report done by the National Bureau of Statistics. Now, as Kenya is ranked 56 out of 190 countries that struggle with ease of paying taxes, challenges of taxes, especially in businesses. This is a problem that we are trying to face. This is why the Gen Zs are going to picket. That is why we know our rights, and that is why we are picketing. Now, Denmark having a 55.9% of taxation, they have free healthcare, free education till university, plus with extra money for extra money of 10,000 US dollars for each and every student. Now, if I was going to be overtaxed that money, and then I would be sure that I am given what I need, then I will be ready to accept the increase of tax. Now, please, do not say that it is financial debts, because we are not picketing because of that. Thank you.
I hope my fellow proposers be keen when you are listening. We say that it's foreign debts, not financial debts. And my name is Job Hidaiga from the grade Leshau Boys High School, standing firmly and boldly opposing the motion that states that overtaxation is the main cause of financial distress among Kenyans. If you don't say that overtaxation was the main, or if, as I say, or I affirm that debts are the main that are affecting our country, we can see that why are we being overtaxed? Or what is the reason that is making taxes to be added? We could say that overtaxation because let's say the government does not have money, but that's not the main reason. The main reason is that we are trying to pay the debts that we have. And that is what I'm emphasizing, that if we say that is overtaxation, why is not that overtaxation will be done for the previous years that have gone, but now it's when you are being added due to the crisis or debts and the causes that are being done by the debt crisis that have been emphasized. On my first point is that the debt crisis is more so the main cause of increment in taxes. As we can see, our Excellency William Ruto justified that the increment in taxes as the only way to reduce the borrowing for a country, that is for a government struggling for a public debt of 9.4 trillion, that is $67 billion, and is classified to the World Bank that is being in a high rank of causing debts and becoming the main cause of financial distress. And that you can get it from the article AP, that is Associated Press. And my other point is that this level disables a country to adapt in the development of a term of infrastructure, education, and health. And what is this bringing about it? This is the foreign debts that hampers the abilities of a country to grow or invest in itself. We can see that the price of a bread was 50 shillings after 2 years ago. Before 2 years ago, sorry. And now we can see that the price of the bread is rising day to day. We can see that the bread had risen, trying to emphasize on it because of the debts that you are trying to pay. We could see that the taxation was increased for us to pay the debts that the China are emphasizing on them, squeezing us to the corner to pay their debts. Almost Kenya, our president, had emphasized on selling the things that we own. And we could see that our sugar company was almost being sold due to the crisis of debts. So I would like to conclude that overtaxation is not the main cause, but debt increment is the main cause of financial distress among Kenyans. Thank you.
Ouch, ouch, what a lie. I am wounded. I am very, very wounded. And do you know why I am wounded? These guys are just busy lying to us, a very respective congregation like us. Kamonjo John Mwita, here to firmly, decisively propose the motion that states overtaxation is the main reason for financial distress among Kenyans. Resource misallocation. Overtaxation has caused misallocation of resources whereby the government diverts away the revenue earned from critical sectors such as education, healthcare, and infrastructure. If the government allocates these resources keenly, quality education, good health and well-being, industry innovation, and infrastructure. I now understand the problem. I now understand the problem with the opposers here. The problem is that they are afraid to say that they don't know. But lucky for you, I am here. I will educate you keenly and will come out as a quite good student. Let me proceed. Hindered small business development. Overtaxation has led to the growth of small businesses. Take a fact. Imagining you yourself seeing your parent every end month entering the house with a sad face like this. Is that good, knowing your parent has been overtaxed from a salary of 20,000 to 17,000? No, I'm wrong. Maybe it's not 17,000, maybe 10,000. Is that right? If you are here to say that overtaxation is indeed not the main reason for financial distress, then you must be wrong, and I decree you must be wrong. According to the Kenya Bureau of Statistics, an average of 46 hours is spent by small business holders thinking of dealing with tax payment. If the government checks on the growth of small businesses, we will achieve the goal that we deliberately uphold, that is industry, innovation, and infrastructure. And then they came here and said that finance debts is the main reason for stress among the Kenyans. Then you must be clear to say, why are Kenyans protesting around the nation against the finance bill? Remember, the finance bill was introduced to help the country fight poverty and make the country make the step forward for economic development. But yet the finance bill is stressing and burdening the already overburdened Kenyan by the overtaxation in session. I finally uphold, there is no taxation without representation. Thank you for your time.
Rab, Adab, Tab. These three men here in Tab, they are refusing to come over to the real point of this. This is about financial distress, not about their sorrowness. And this time, my friend, that sad phase will come to end won't come to end until we pay the foreign debts we have to other countries. To begin with, I'll start by saying that my name is Newton Minor from the Sharksville in name Leshau Boys High School, opposing by this motion that states overtaxation is the main cause for financial distress among Kenyans. We know that when we hear that our proposers here are saying that overtaxation is a major cause, actually I'm feeling pity for them, because if they know the problem that's facing us in the coming years, if we don't pay the debts that we are owing other countries, they'll come and take the port of Mombasa. That's according to the Kenyan government. Well, let's start by saying that because they're still local, I'll begin by the internal debt. Internal debt is according to the Daily Nation on 1st February on 2024. There is 630 billion of Kenyan shillings pending bills that the government owes contractors, and also 121 billions of Kenyan shillings in debt that industries, departments, and agencies are ready to settle. This government of ours is trying to help us to cover the debt that we have to other countries, whereas some of us are thinking that they're doing the bad thing. We are coming to remove the debt that we have to other generation. We are trying to make life for the following generation in our life to be better, not crying here because of the debt. We are crying here because we are not crying here because of taxation. We are crying here because of the foreign debt that we have, and internal debt indeed. Again, this financial debt renders the economic situation in Kenya subordinate to the liquidity crisis with its key debt sustainability. This is amid falling revenue collections and surgery debt repayment costs. It's according to the article, the East African, which states that the escalating debt poses a substantial challenge for the repayment of both external and domestic obligators. As you can see that the obligators in our countries are trying to run away because of this overtaxation, but still they want to repay the debt that we have. That makes it the repayment burdens and funding constraints. In my another point, I say that foreign debt is causing distress in large financial institutions, which are a pillar of the economy. This has led to collapse of giant industries and companies. Such industries and companies are like the Direct Line Insurance, the Mumias Sugar Company, and others. According to Investopedia, it creates unfavorable conditions for investors in our country due to high taxation. Actually, I'm asking my proposers here to cross over the bridge and help us in opposing this motion until we check it in our bulletin tomorrow that the financial debt is over. I rest my case.
Under Article 203A, it says that no legislation should be put out without national interest. Now, how comes that they want to put out this bill while we cannot even, we are struggling to put even a food on our table? Now, the people who live under $1 are struggling to put even a plate of maize meal on their table, going under 145 shillings. Corruption is encompassing our country. The nation is overtaxing us only to go to our leaders' pocket. We are not receiving what we are being promised. Why are they cutting the budget for healthcare from 4 billion to 2 billion? Now, to believe everything or to doubt everything is equally convenient solution, but it both dispenses the necessity of reflection. Do you want to be overtaxed?
Wow. I have pity for you, my worthy proposers, because the answer for financial distress among Kenyans is under your nose, and that is foreign debt crisis. So don't just sit there lamely like dogs chasing after their own tails, and join us in proposing that foreign debt crisis is the main cause of financial distress among Kenyans. So please, 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 as we meet outside, be ready to surrender to us and join us in saying that foreign debt crisis is the main cause of financial distress among Kenyans. And one question that I have for you, proposers, is that what proof do you have that our leaders are using the money that we are being overtaxed? Thank you.
Proposers, what is it that overtaxation has done for us to say that it is not just any other reason, but the main reason for financial distress among Kenyans? We expected the following. Taxation in Kenya is not fair. We have people who are taxed, others are not taxed. We have people who pay taxes. We have others who do not pay taxes. And the way the taxes are applied is not very uniform. Number two, we also expected you to tell us that we've seen corruption eating away money that the government collect from Kenyans. We've seen taxes being collected, but they are not put in the right utilization. They are not utilized as we Kenyan citizens would expect, among many other issues. Opposers, if not overtaxation, then what is it that is the main reason for financial distress among Kenyans? Good attempt. You tried to bring out financial debt as one of the reasons why there is distress among Kenyans. And I think it was good on your side. It was also good on the proposer's side. Both teams have done their best, and I wish you all the best.